Hello everyone, my name is Chris. I'm with Sticker Fab, and this is our 2025 Toyota 4Runner, and I want to install these Baja Designs ditch lights on that vehicle. Alright, first things first, that vehicle is an SR5, so it doesn't have any factory auxiliary switches, and I don't want to drill a hole inside for this switch here, so I'm going to use this factory style switch that has this breakout connector, and it'll pop right in just like a factory switch. Alright, so what in the world is going on here, you might ask? Here is our aftermarket switch. I actually have it on its side with the light up, and that way this harness is laid out flat, and the tab is right there. We have from the bottom a yellow wire, red wire, white wire, green wire, and then black wire. Because this is solid on the front and not backlit, we don't need the ground for any backlighting, and we don't need the positive illumination for any backlight wiring. So that leaves us the green, white, and red. The red is our input power, the white is our ground, and the green outputs the power. So you can see there's 0 volts right now because the switch is off. I'm going to push the switch, and now the output is registering the same as our power supply. And that light on the switch is on. We'll push it again, and it turns off. It's always good to have a fundamental understanding of what you're working with. All right, now I'm continuing with the wiring because mounting ditch lights to your vehicle is so easy. In general, like mounting light bars, mounting any kind of light, if you have the appropriate brackets, is super easy. It's the wiring that's the more difficult part to me. So I've cut off the ends of the Baja Designs wiring. I could have probably left those on because I have to run all this wire through the firewall, but I wanted to use tabs that are compatible with what I have, so I put these on this side. The Baja Designs ones were really small, so they wouldn't have fit with anything I had at the time. All right, so now we're inside of the vehicle. I found this wiring loom going straight out. It also has the hood pull wire attached to it, and I used one of our X-Acto knives. I felt around there and made sure that I wasn't poking the main wire loom, and I pushed straight out, and I'll show you where that comes out. So it comes out right down there, and I'm not touching anything. I haven't ruptured anything. I'm just coming right out of that rubber seal. You can see the head of that X-Acto knife. I'm going to tie this wiring to it. I'm going to tape it up in the front, and I'm going to pull it back through into the cabin. All right, if you guys didn't know, when you work at a vinyl shop and you primarily do that, you're kind of limited on options, and I didn't want to go home or ask my wife to bring it, so I had to use packing tape to wrap that wire around a screwdriver because that X-Acto knife wasn't long enough. And then I kind of guided and pushed the two together through that grommet because the hole is really small, so I kind of just forced it down together as much as I could, and then I was able to gently pull it out the other end. So a better alternative would have been a wire hanger and then use electrical tape to tie this down. And now that I have it, let me pull some more out. I've got to put these ends on it. And if you guys don't have one of these crimping tools slash wire strippers, I do suggest you get them. They're often this color red. They have a place where you can cut wires, you can strip the wires up top really easily, and you can crimp insulated terminals and non-insulated. Of course, these are insulated. You want to really get a lot of leverage on them and squeeze them down super hard so they don't fall off. All right, so that part was pretty simple and straightforward. The only thing to note here is actually reiterating. You probably want to leave the factory pieces on here as you run it through that grommet because it can damage the wiring. So if you damage the wiring, you'll have to cut the wire off again and restrip the wire before you put these new terminals on. All right, to mount the switches, we're gonna have to get behind this panel. I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. We're gonna pop this entire piece out right there, and then we can work on the back of this and pull those wires up and through there and connect them to that switch. All right, so I just reached straight down there. I pulled the wires up behind this area, and I gave myself enough slack. Make sure this is not wired up. We don't want these terminals to be hot, because if they're hot, you have them wired up to the battery already. If they hit metal, they will ground out. I'm going to go ahead and mount my ditch lights up top because if I'm off-roading, chances are those are the most frequent lights I will use on a dark path. And all I did was stick my hand behind here and push it out from the back, just kind of wiggled it out, and there's your cap. All right, silly me, especially because I don't have electrical tape up here right now. I ran this through there and I realized that those wires would be still exposed. This metal would be exposed if I didn't get a completely insulated terminal. So I switched those out right here. And as we noted in our video earlier, white is ground. So I have it connected to the black wire. And then our power wire is green, and that's connected to the Baja blue wire. And here's our red wire, which is kind of our constant input, and I have that wired to the Baja white wire. I pulled the Baja wiring through the hole because it's much easier to wire it over here, and then I'm going to start doing a little testing by hooking up the Baja wiring to the battery terminals. I'm going to make sure this setup works before I put the switch back in here and close all of that up. For the testing, all I've done is gently connected those terminals. I've just kind of looped them over something so they'll stay for a minute. And right here, let's check it out. Lights up, great. What I would normally do here is kind of wrap electrical tape around each one of these connections individually, and then I'd wrap it around the bundle and then push the wiring back through. If you guys are wondering at all, these labels are available on our website. All right, if you like your paint, this is where you are very careful during the installation. If you have one of those mats you can kind of lay on right there, go ahead and do that. If you have any jewelry on, go ahead and take that off. I was wondering if this could be a one-man or a one-woman install, and I think so, yes. I've just done this side, and I was able to back out those bolts enough to slip that mount inside of there, continue to put pressure this way, move the hood around so I could get all of that slack out and have enough room in there. And then I just held it and I bolted it back down, and that's what it looks like mounted. So I'm gonna go try on the other side. Now the other side isn't supported by that hood prop. So again, I'm gonna back them out just enough to slip that mount inside of there and then tighten it back down carefully. All right, so you may have to move this around because this hinge might come off of the hood just a little bit, but as you back one of the bolts out, make sure it's still in there and then start backing the other one out. You can see how that hinge comes down like that. So I'm gonna pull the hood up a little bit until I've got enough clearance to slip in this mount. I'm gonna carefully route it in there. If you guys have painter's tape, I would cover this entire area until you get these mounted. Just slip it right in there. Put pressure on it this way. I'm holding the mount and pulling it back at the same time with my left hand. I'm going to tighten that up as much as it allows. I did have to get an extension on this 12mm socket in order for it to reach this bottom one. Just gonna keep on putting pressure on it. I'm gonna get it a little tight, and then I'll let go and tighten it up the rest of the way. I'm not trying to crank down on this too much, but I want it to kind of be to factory spec again. And now that side's done. I'm going to go ahead and mount the lamps on top of those. All right, so let's check out this bracket right here. You can see the Allen hardware on the side. I had to use a 5/64 to tighten that. It has a little washer inside there, a really rough one, and I pointed the rough side towards the actual lamp. And we have that mirrored on the other side. But then when you're mounting this bracket to it, go ahead and put this bolt through and then put those through, because you're going to want that bolt inside of that frame. I don't know if you could move the bracket and kind of slip it in, but I just do it as I put the bracket on. But it looks like these two are 9/16, so I'm going to have to go to Harbor Freight on the other end of the parking lot and get a couple open-end wrenches so I can tighten that down. All right, so $25 later, I have a set of open-ended wrenches. I'm just finishing tightening this down. get it aligned the way you want to. You'll probably have to do the final alignment at night. I'm just gonna have this bracket run parallel with this mount and this pretty much level. It comes with these lenses right here, which is kind of like a spot, and then like this one spreads it out. This is a little bit wider. There's another set of lenses where all of these are really wide in case you might want to just shoot it right to the side. A lot of the times I put my ditch lights kind of to the obliques in the corners. That gives me a lot of light on the side, especially if you already have a good amount of light shooting straight forward. Now grab your Allen wrench. Be sure to tighten the side mounts too, at least until you get this the way you want it. You don't want this flying off. All right, I've connected it to the positive and negative battery terminal. These are both 12 mil. Of course, this you could also just ground to the chassis, and I've connected the wiring to the lights and made sure they work. Both of these wires are the same length, so there's not one short side and one long side. And I've tested it, and they are lighting up like they should. Next thing to do is use the supplied zip ties, and I'm going to put all of this along the firewall and kind of follow that line all the way across so it stays away from the fan and anything else. And then we're pretty much done with this install. Only thing left is to test it out at night and aim everything. All right, this is kind of my temporary setup because I never know how long I'm going to have these vehicles or if I'm going to change some stuff out just for the business. I have most of the wiring just sitting in front of there, and then I have it all zip tied over there. Hey, look, a little surface rust there. I know some people aren't going to be happy. We've only had this vehicle about a week, and of course we're here in Southwest Florida. There are brackish waters by, but I don't think it could have affected that. So maybe those pieces just rusted before they put them on the vehicle. I don't know. Anyways, I don't think I'm worried about it as long as it's not become penetrating rust. If you do want to make this setup a little bit neater, of course, you can cut these lines, cut off all of that extra wiring, and then kind of solder and then heat shrink the connections back. And then you'll have exactly enough wiring to reach those little points, and you won't wind up with this huge bundle right there. Also, if you get some kind of controller that has a fuse box that you can control from inside the cabin, whether that be through a physical switch or remotes, that will clean up your setup, especially if you're going to add a bunch of lights so you don't run just 100 relays down there. You just use that. Or if you use at least those factory 3 or 4 relays that you get with kind of these TRD off-road models and Trail Hunter and TRD Pro. But for real, now all I have to do is aim these and we're good to go. All right, it is a little bit darker, so I wanted to show you guys the output on these. These are Squadron Sports. Of course, they do have the Squadron Pro, and then you can get even bigger lights. You can get the XLs, and you can even get the LP4s because these mounts are pretty much universal, and Baja has set up those kits as well. Let's go in here. Let's turn it on with our switch. Note we connected it directly to the battery, so we can turn this on whenever we want. And that is what it looks like. So this wall is about 15 to 20 feet away. You can see my shadow kind of clear as day. There are the lights over there. So if you guys want to pick these up, head to my website at stickerfab.com. I'm going to be doing tons of things on the 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser because we now own this vehicle. So please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already, and hit the bell notification icon for the latest things I'm going to be coming out with.